couple of minutes, and then the floor is yours whenever you want to, just get started.
Sounds good. Sounds good. So I'm gonna keep it like super informal. Like there's no like presentation or anything. Um, there is a roadmap on how I want to structure the talk, but yeah. But I think yeah, as I talk, anyone has any questions, please feel free to interrupt. But yeah, let's wait a few minutes, right?
Sorry, I haven't done that in a long time.
Mm. Does anyone have like any specific things that they want me to talk about? Any like are curious about in terms of growth, marketing? If so, maybe I can talk more of that. Nothing. Okay. Which project, Rohit, in the group do you think requires like the most marketing? Or out of all the projects here, who like thinks they need the most help?
Um, I'll leave it up to the individuals to evaluate themselves.
Or okay, I mean, most help is like that's kind of bad way of just saying it. Or is doing pretty well. Let's do the reverse. Who do you think is doing pretty well with their marketing, or has tried something with
I mean,
marketing?
a few of them have been like trying different things. Like some of them are putting out more text-based tweets. A few of them are doing videos or, are working towards videos. Some of them are doing more manual reach outs and like reach outs to some communities on Reddit, I suppose, and Twitter. So it's a mixed bunch. Like I quickly saw what you shared with me over DMs, what you're going to go through, and
Mhm.
I think there's like takeaways for everyone. So um, yeah, I think like everyone can pick at least parts of it, if not the um, whole thing.
Nice, perfect. Yeah, I've been following a few of them on Twitter, so follow that. But yeah, videos very cool. We will definitely talk about video.
Yeah, but speaking of that, by the way, guys, Bloom is going to put out a video today. So please reshare, give them some amplification whenever you'll see it.
Mhm. Are we still sharing like expos and showcase? I remember we used to do that, right? To help blow up those posts. I feel like this cohort is not doing that enough. But yeah, guys, you can share like any cool tweets, cool videos you make. I guess we can share them on showcase channel so then all of us can retweet and like it.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Like we usually do that. Um, Parth, if you want to get started, we can just dive into it. We have a decent audience here. Others
Right.
can drop in as they do.
Sweet, sweet, sweet. Okay, so I'll give you guys a roadmap of first of what I'm thinking of talking about. And yeah, as I said, anything that I'm talking about, if you guys want to learn a little more about that specific topic or don't understand something I'm saying, please feel free to interrupt. You can unmute or just drop, in the chat, whatever you feel comfortable. Maybe the chat's easier because then I have the Discord open, so I can see that. Yeah, and also any questions, right? As I was saying, any specific things you want to learn about, please drop it in the chat. But basically, I've been running my own startup for a couple years, 4 or 5 years before we shut down now, working for Forward. So over that time, marketing is super important. So basically, marketing sales, right? That's how you basically grow your company. So ours was a B2B SaaS led business. So we did focus on sales, but it wasn't like super enterprising. So it was like a kind of a low ticket B2B startup. So marketing was a huge area, right? Because with sales, you're sort of confined to reaching out to someone, and then it's a like one by one approach. So it makes sense if, let's say you have like a 5% conversion rate, that 5% gives you very high margins. But if you have like a B2C app or like a low ticket B2B app, then it makes sense to market a lot, because then people come to you. And the cool thing of marketing is that once you do it one time, right, you get the brand image out there, your sales also becomes easier, right? Everything gets easier once you have a brand. So basically, I'm going to start by talking about SEO, because what we realized is, I mean, until you can say a few years ago, that was by far the most important thing. Now people are claiming SEO is dead because ChatGPT is basically the new SEO. People have yet not figured out exactly how to gamify ChatGPT in the same way. Like SEO, there are hundreds of articles on how to boost your SEO, but I think it's called LLM. So it's SEO is just search engine optimization, right? I don't think there's the keyword yet on how to optimize your site for LLMs, right? I mean, there are ways to make it easier for LLMs to read your site, but the people are saying that the principles that apply to SEO are going to be very similar that apply to chatbots, because end of the day, the way Google finds your site, right, is that they have scrapers out there that go around the internet and go to all these websites and just scrape data and read your site, and that gets stored in Google's sort of database, and they sort of figure out if your site is relevant to a certain topic. And then when a person searches it, then based on how popular and how relevant your site is, they will show your site. Does SEO factor into what GPT returns? So not directly, right? Because SEO traditionally has been very specific to like search engines. Like, for example, with like backlinks, right? Backlinks is a very SEO specific thing. Um, it So the backlinks are basically how many websites link back to your site. Right? Kind of like your domain. So they call it domain authority. So if like other reputable sites are linking to your site, that shows the world that your site is important, right? So that gives you like a domain authority. It's like a scale of 0 to 100. So you like Facebook, for example, like Google has a domain authority 100, right? When you start off, you don't really start with 0, but it's like basically single digit numbers. And there are a bunch of websites which you can like SEMrush and Ahrefs that have free tiers which you can calculate domain authority. And what they do is they basically find all your backlinks, and then there's some calculations out there that give you domain authority. So yeah, so that's SEO one, and then yeah, I'm gonna basically talk about the socials. I think some of you guys are posting on X, Reddit. That's great. Basically, to boost your SEO, socials are great. So what we used to do is we used to write a bunch of blogs for SEO, and then use our LinkedIn and X to kind of boost those for the social media algorithm, right? Because at the end of the day, I mean, you just want people to visit your website, right? Traffic is all that matters technically. And then yeah, in today's day and age, video is insane. Back then, it used to be hard to make video. Long form video was hard. Then short form video came out, which was slightly easier to make. Now with AI, it's like a joke to make a video. It just takes effort. It's not actually technically hard anymore. So everyone should make videos. We'll talk like the different types of videos and tools and all that. And then yeah, I mean, finally, just basically tracking. I mean, all this effort that you're doing. End of the day, nothing's actually important if you don't track it all. So having basically tracking links. So how they have Bitly links. You can just use that. So every time you share a link on a certain post, or in a video or in a caption, whatever, you should have some sort of tracking tags associated with it. And again, there are a bunch of tools which allow you to do this. Like, I mean, Google Analytics is like the famous one, but I mean, there are simpler ones out there. Like, for example, Bitly. Okay, cool. So that's like a high level overview. um, any questions? Right? Yeah, just keep dropping them in the chat if there's anything. So yeah, so talking about SEO, the most important thing that I've seen for SEO is basically Google Search Console, right? I mean, so when I say SEO, I basically mean Google, right? I mean like Bing and everything else kind of dead. Everyone's focused on Google. So Google Search Console is by far like the biggest thing we used to use, because obviously it's made by Google, right? And it basically shows you where you rank on Google, how many how many results do you come up with, on what page you're on, what keywords you're ranking for, right? How many impressions you've made, and how many clicks you've done to your website, right? And they track it to your entire website, so across all pages. So that's pretty cool. one thing is, I know that, since we use RIO domains, I'm not quite sure how this is going to work. I had this question going. I've not really gone deep into it, but it's interesting because typically SEO is focused on one domain, right? I know all of us are encouraged to use RIO, domains, right? And you can have 200 gateways, right, linking to your website. Um, so, but the good thing is you can connect to Search Console via just putting some snippet in the header of your code. So technically, you can track all major gateways, I think, and then see how that's ranking. But yeah, so Google Search Console, and then basically to figure out how to rank on SEO, the best thing that I've seen is basically Google Ads keyword. So Google Ads, uh, even if you don't run ads, Google keyword ads tool has a way to show you the price ranges of different ads for different keywords, and basically based on those ad prices, you can kind of figure out what's trending, what's important, and they show you like a small traffic indicator as well, so you can see what keywords people are searching for. And besides that, there are third-party tools like SEMrush, Ahrefs. Again, if you want to know these popular ones, ChatGPT is there. You can find all these popular ones, and they all have free tiers. So to get started with just keyword research, difficulties, traffic, volume, you can definitely use these tools, free tier of these tools. Um, yeah. So also one thing is everything I'm saying right now, right? I think it's just an overview, but I typically just learn nowadays with ChatGPT, right? Like for example, to find out how to uh, increase my SEO, right? There's no one better than ChatGPT to give you that advice, and to especially for your specific niche, like the more context you give an LLM, the better your answer, right? So the more you describe your product, your ideas, your website, and then ask specific advice, that's like there's nothing better in my mind. So you should just know what to search for. So I think this talk, hopefully, what you come out of it is just knowing all the tools that are there and what's important, and then you can go and fine tune it and get cool ideas from ChatGPT. Yeah, so for SEO, so once you find all the keywords, right, and you've got the tracking with Search Console done, basically the low hanging fruit is blogs, right? It's always been blogs for SEO. That's primarily the way, at least B2B for sure. B2C, there's some cool other things you can do, but basically content, right? The more content, the more pages you have on the internet, the more of a expert Google thinks you are, and the more likelihood they will rank for you, right? It's like you go into a person with a large social media following, right? Typically, they have hundreds and thousands of posts. So, in the same way, if you have shit ton of blogs, you are considered an expert on that topic. And especially, of course, blogs. So, one has to be relevant blogs on your niche, right? Not just some random things all over the place, because Google does sort of draw like a profile on your website, right? So, everything kind of has to fit in together. Doesn't mean it has to be like only on one topic, but it has to be like relevant to what your website is. And today, of course, it's so easy to write blogs, right? Because we have ChatGPT, we have AI, and Google. At least a couple of years back, when this was all the hype, they officially have come out and said, you can use AI to write your blogs. Like that's not an issue. The only thing is, it has to be high quality, and they've always said that to rank with SEO and all your for your blogs, the quality is all that matters, right? And so, which is why, so if you have good quality and you have like around 500, like 1,000 words, is like the average typically. But then you can also have like cornerstone blogs, right? Which is almost like, in a way, research papers, which are like 5,000, 10,000 word blogs. So typically, what we would do is they make like a massive cornerstone article, right, about your niche, and then have like a bunch of smaller blogs that would be linked from that big cornerstone blog, right? So you talk about like all the ideas in that one niche of yours, and then break down the different topics that you're covering in that constant blog into different smaller blogs. And one thing to note is, since as you write and as you grow your website, interlinking your pages is super important, because that's also how all these scrapers on the internet find your stuff, right? Because Google, let's say they find one page of yours, or like one random page somewhere here and there, they can click the links and then find the other blogs. So if one blog like shoots up a lot because that one blog is linked to other blogs, right? All your blog's traffic sort of goes up, and then the domain authority basically goes up. So yeah, I mean, so domain authority, I was saying, right? It's backlinks, but it's also traffic, right? I mean, at the end of the day, it's like how reputable is your website, and that's like the domain authority score. Yeah, and so one of the ways that after you write the blog, right? Now you've written the blog, you posted it, then what? Right? How does Google or anybody actually find your stuff? So that's where social media came in, right? So basically, the first thing we did was we always just share it on social media, share on LinkedIn in our case, but on X also, or Reddit, anywhere where you think people who are interested, could have that, and where you have presence. So social media, I mean, another great thing with marketing social media is that basically thought leadership, right? People love following a certain someone if they think you have something to say that's relevant in your niche. So I mean, writing cool posts and insightful posts is kind of hard, or at least was kind of hard. Now, I think, with a little bit of effort and a little bit of AI, it's not that difficult, especially on LinkedIn. I mean, LinkedIn's filled with just basically personal stories, right? Because personal stories sell. But who knows if they're actually personal or not? It's just written in a personal way. And I think even in Twitter, what I'm seeing is, people love personal narratives. So yeah, you can not saying like fake it completely, but you can twist the truth a little bit and put a personal sort of twist to different thought patterns and stories that you want to share. And again, AI is your best tool here in terms of ideas that are relevant to your niche and to your product. And so recently, the last couple of years, video, as I'm sure all of you guys know, is like video is the king right now, because with AI content, like blogs, like written content is kind of saturated in a way. Doesn't mean it's not important, right? Google and I mean the world still works on written content for sure, but video is a way basically go viral, right? And in the day, that's what you want. If you can go viral, nothing like it. And short form video obviously is insane. You can make it once and then share it across all platforms. And before it used to be super hard, right? Because earlier we had YouTube and you'd like make podcasts and then, or like, yeah, I think just podcasts, right? Or like explainer videos and like tutorials and like teaching material, right? But now we have short form video, which is basically like ads. I just look at it as like is back then you'd make like a like a 2 minute TV commercial or whatever. But now you just make a reel, make a short. So there are a bunch of AI tools. Again, to find the exact ones, ChatGPT is there. But I'm actually gonna drop a bunch of these tools that I've seen in the chat. They are basically, so again, I found all these on X. People love sharing different ideas on how they're making these tools and basically what the tools are capable of. Because every few months, the capability of these AI tools just keeps getting better and better and better. Right? What you could do like last year was what you can do now is absolutely ridiculous. Like it's not even funny. It's I wouldn't say it's as close to the biggest influencers, but it's getting so close, it's ridiculous. And once it gets there, once you can make a video like let's say Mr. Beast, right? There's nothing else. I don't know what's gonna happen. But until then, right, you should use these AI tools to quickly make videos and see what works, right? Because the great thing about these short form video algorithms are that they actually show you what works. So let's say you put out 10 videos over 10 days. Some of them will like have an outlying like an abnormal amount of views compared to how many followers and likes that you should be getting. And that's the nature of how these algorithms work, right? I mean, the view count, typically when you have a post or a blog, it'll like, you won't get a crazy number of views on it, like randomly, right? It's usually like a slow growth. I mean, you have an outlier here or there. But with videos, these algorithms are actually pretty insane where they'll just show them to someone and you never know what type of video will work and the algorithm will show you, right? So it's all about just trying a lot of different ideas. And once obviously you see something that works, typically you double down on it. So you double down on that type of video and that type of topic, right? So you try and move more towards there. And again, the algorithm is your best friend in that case. And again, in terms of ideas, right? ChatGPT is the best because for your niche, for your topic, right? Knowing what works, what doesn't work, just ideate to ChatGPT and your teammates. Let's see. For videos, we have some of the works, but in the end of spending a lot of time editing them. One day focusing on like really, really good quality of video a day is good. So, um, quality is important, but I think quantity in at least these short form video style reels, right? I think personally quality is more important. I mean, of course, it can be a shit video, but I don't know. With these AI tools that I've seen, they kind of have the editor inbuilt into the AI tool. So of course, okay. So if you're recording yourself and like a demo or like a mini podcast or something, then I mean, yeah, sure. Like editing is a little challenging. But even then, I mean, there are some AI video editors that like auto caption and like can easily pick out like good snippets. Can remove the ums automatically. So they have sort of very small AI tools to help you within the editor. That works. But yeah, I think editing is important. But yeah, I mean, you shouldn't spend too much time. I mean, because you're not a video editor, right? Your job is not to edit videos. Your job is to grow your startup and do well for your product. So yeah, hope that answers it. Um, yeah, and so with AI videos now, it doesn't have to just be like explainer videos. I know like no face AI videos are like taking off like crazy, but you can even have like product demos, right? In the sense that I mean, this probably applies, let's say, to a physical product, but I mean, you can apply it to a software product as well. Like now you can actually take a picture of a physical product, and the AI can actually use that in the video itself, right? So like on brand, on theme, generate videos very easily. And the best part of here is you can actually make that user generated content. So instead of recording yourself talking about certain thing, I know Greg and everyone encourages people to do that, which is great. But I'm under the impression that you can just get a bunch of like cool influencers, AI influencers, to just talk about your product, especially for B2C, right? Showing how so many people are already using a product from like a first person perspective. Right? It's almost like, hey, look, 10 of these cool people on the internet have used my product and they're giving me first hand reviews. And this is like a short video I've made that edits and puts all those videos, all those reviews together. And yeah, it looks pretty realistic. I mean, it's insane what's there right now. So yeah, and I don't know about the free tiers or paid tiers, but I know almost all of them definitely have a way to start, and then probably have like a $10-20 plan to continue. So yeah, you can check that out for sure. Okay, so yeah, so social media, right? Blogs, um, video, getting a following. Then finally, I mean, so social media is great, right? But typically, most traffic in the world still comes from Google, right? Google is still the king. So if you really want to focus on SEO, right, the biggest thing I was saying was backlinks. Backlinks are still, one of the best ways to increase domain authority, and which is why people used to basically spend money to put their website into publications, right? Like have a newspaper write about your article, or like have magazines and large news publishers sort of write about it and then backlink to your site, right? Because every, like let's say Forbes, like Times of India, Economic Times, right, like links back to your site, that's huge. Like domain authority jumps up by like 10 points something, right? Just for that one link. So that's insane. And so it includes any site on the internet that links back to you, right? Which includes like GitHub, you know, pretty simple, right? To just have GitHub link back. A product hunt, right? The product hunt is great. Product hunt, Hacker News, I think are the two biggest like indie sort of uh, SaaS app directories out there, right? Every entrepreneur that I know, like basically post a product hunt and get feedback, because I mean it doesn't hurt. Worst case, nobody looks at it and it just slides away or people shit on it. But every publicity is good publicity, so that works. And then yeah, I mean, you got a backlink, right? So the doesn't hurt on people post multiple times the product hunt as well. Like let's say the first launch didn't go well, right? You double down on everything, all the feedback, and why did it go well, and then you can just change it up and post again. It doesn't matter, people do that all the time. So that's great. And like Product Hunt, there are actually a bunch of websites, again, ChatGPT, right? A bunch of websites where you can basically launch your product and basically get feedback from people, right? And again, so to track all these various backlinks, SEMrush, Ahrefs, right, are great free tools. Uber Suggest is another one, which can track your backlinks and show your domain authority and see how well you're doing. Um, yeah, and then so when you post on all these various sites, right? One of the main things you want to know is how many people are actually clicking on the link from all these websites, right? So that's where what we used to do is every time, every post, every place we put our website, we always had like tracking links with it. So we, because so you can use something like SEMrush, which sometimes can automatically detect where the traffic is coming from. But the safest way, if you don't use these fancy tools, is to just have like one of these like Bitly kind of links. Right? I'm sure there are better websites. I know like dub.sh is one of them. But there are a bunch of these basically I think like shortener URL websites that give you like a shortened URL for your website, or just like put tags at the end of the URL so that Search Console or any analytical tool can like detect where the traffic is coming from. Right. I think the shortener URLs like Bitly are just easier because they have like nice clean dashboard with everything. You can very easily create different links for different places you're posting a website. Right. Yeah. Yeah, also about posting a website, because people are so obsessed about just posting and getting backlinks from everywhere, and just getting people to click on it, which is why I hope you guys know like social media hates you putting a link in your post. I think that's when Twitter like there's like a stat someone was saying of if you put a link on your post, like they instantly like downgrade the reach of it, which is why people put it like in the first comment or like in the last thread or something. But yeah, that's just small FYI. But yeah, I mean, if you're launching a website, for example, like a product or something, of course you're going to put your link there. It's just yeah, like note tracking is important because all the work they're doing, if you just see like hey one number traffic go up, that doesn't really help you in terms of doubling down. So, because at the end of the day, what you want to do is, whatever channel works, like you want to try everything, and then whatever works, double down on that, right? So for us, like LinkedIn worked, right? Blogs and LinkedIn, those worked. So we doubled down on that, and certain types of posts work. So then we did more of those posts. Um, Screenshot possible to use these tools, SEO, SEMrush. Yes, I can do that. I've not used SEMrush in a while, but yes, they do have free. I have seen their free tier, so can do that. And yeah, tools for UGC. Yeah, I was actually just finding it. I have it somewhere in my notes. It's just that. Uh, yeah, okay, found it. Okay, so these are the. Okay, I'll share all of this. So there are the video AI tools, there are some video editors, and then there are some like end-to-end video gen things. I think they're like they do more than just make simple videos. Again, I've not used most of these. I mean, seen pretty much all of these, but yeah. So these are the tools. And so especially the video AI tools, like there's Higgsfield and HeyGen and this captions by Mirage Studio. They're like insane in specifically focusing on making videos for content creators, right? So having that UGC videos so that like you choose your avatar, you choose your voice, and you choose the content you want, like whether the product picture or a website, and basically you can have like an influencer on demand just talk about it, and it's like really cool from what I've seen the demos, and very easy to use as well. And then these are the video editors. So Descript is the one I was talking about that has the AI tools in them. So yeah, I have a friend who's used them, and he says it makes editing videos much faster. So that's cool. And then yeah, so finally, just I think just to end, kind of, one of the things we used to do was, because at the end of the day, when you get traffic, like traffic doesn't really matter also, because what actually matters is that traffic converting, right? Because you could do all the SEO, you could do all your socials, you could do everything, but if you get the wrong type of audience to visit your website, it's kind of stupid, it's kind of useless. Or if you just get people who click in and just read your website and go away, that's also kind of useless, right? What actually matters is conversion. So this works more for ads, But we used to do it even for posts. Is basically make conversion landing pages. And again, now with AI, it should be relatively easy to make like a web page, right? Especially once you have like your colors, your theme, and like basic building blocks. But basically, the idea is you make a page specific for a certain thing you're talking about, right? For a specific type of audience and for a specific thought that you want to put out there, right? And that could be like a video series, it could be a post series, or ads, right? And ads kind of work the best because it's like you have an instant ROI. So it's like, hey, I'm spending $10 in ads, right? And if I get, let's say, 100 users to come to my website, if 10% convert, right, 10 people are going to sign up, right, and one person has to like buy, let's say, my $10 product, right, then I break even. So if so it's like you're paying for something and you expect money at the end of it, right? So it's like if the money doesn't come at the end, the ads are completely useless, right? So of course that's what people do for ads, but it works for anything, right? I mean, you could um, I think I like to do it on. So what we used to do is we used to do like a series of posts, right? Like on a certain topic. Like let's say we want to talk about Tally, right? And how Tally is this cool, well not cool, but like basically it's very difficult software to use, and how we make it easy to use it. And so we put out like a bunch of thought leadership on like Tally and how your Tally is so ingrained in the market, and then we would have kind of a landing page just for Tally and how we make Tally easier, and we would just share that page everywhere. So people who come to our website are not confused by all the other services we offer, by all the other integrations we make. They just look at, okay, hey, I'm a Tally user, you make Tally easier, cool, let's sign up and see what's up. So that really helps. And typically, so typically when people think of ads, think of like social media ads or Google ads, right? But what we used to do is you can also boost your post. So like after posting, if your post does really well, right? Like let's say you found a certain topic that it has a unnaturally higher views, right? You can just make that into an ad, right? They have like a boost feature. So that works pretty well because it's already like doing well, and you can put like a little more money in it and like really push it out to everyone. So we used to experiment with that a lot. That was very cool. Yeah, and of course tracking that with landing pages, so you'd know for a fact that it's working or not working. Um, yeah, I think that was the end of it. Where because once you conversion signups, right? That's the end of marketing. Um, screen share tools. Yeah, so I can do that. Cool. Any questions? Anything else you want to touch on a little more?
Yeah, I would say, guys, if you have questions, unmute yourself and ask Parth while he's here. I think it would be like easier if like based on what he shared, if y'all have any direct questions about implementation or whatever. Um, yeah, go for it, guys.
So one question I have, since nobody is that how is this different, on Web3? Because like my experience has mostly been Web2, right? And Web3 kind of operates slightly differently. So it's a question, I mean, to myself or to anyone here. But basically, I think Web3 has its own distribution channels, right? Obviously, Web3 is more on X, right? I think we all know that. But I think, because I mean, all of us, at least I think most of us, right, are encouraged to build, and we want sort of to expand the Web3 universe, right? We want people outside of crypto to come into crypto, right? So I think in that sense, it would be useful to step outside of Twitter only, right, and go where people are. And people are not on Twitter, right? I mean, Twitter is actually one of the smallest social medias out there. Um, so people are on Instagram, on LinkedIn, right? Definitely on Google. So which is why I think traditional SEO, traditional marketing, traditional growth is important, because I've seen many of your landing pages, and they're cool, right? They don't scream Web3 and crypto. They appeal to a general audience, right? So marketing it in that way also then is very useful. So I think there is a difference between marketing Web3 and marketing for the world. And so, conversion landing pages then can come into play, where you can make certain pages of your site, very crypto friendly for the crypto audience, and but have a general site, kind of general. And what's cool is those conversion landing pages don't even have to be like linked anywhere from your site, right? It's just like a URL that you post around and people click it. And when they like from that URL, let's say they click some other link, you can't come back to that landing page, right? It's just from that one link that you shared. Nobody else can see it. So that's cool, right? Because then only that certain audience of yours who's interacting with that site can see it, but your overall persona of your site sort of stays consistent to who your audience is. So yeah, hope that helped for Web3 because that was one thing, I was thinking about when I was making a Web3 app.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting one, and everyone is kind of experimenting only. Like some are going this direction, some are going like, there's no plan for it kind of thing. Um, I
Yeah,
think maybe like, at some point all of this converges when someone like cracks whatever uh SEO for AI looks like.
yeah. I mean, people say, what people are thinking at least is that with Google you could kind of game the system, right, with backlinks and whatever. But with chat, with GPTs, right, you because they can like actually read your content for what it is and like understand, right, it basically the high. So what Google also keeps saying on their SEO tips sort of guidelines is that high quality matters, right? Quality is like basically the only thing that matters, everything else secondary. Right? If you write good content and you keep writing again and again on your niche, we will find it and it'll work. So people have said that they've already employed some machine learning AI tools in the background for like years now, and so GPT is just like another form of that. Um, so yeah, that also is.
Yeah, I mean, like, AI is a pretty broad field, and like the generative AI we see is just a small segment of it. So, I'm sure they have, because we've had like, data analysts like work with algorithms for a really long time. I'm sure like, Google has its own things in the background as well. They've had, I think, what, TensorFlow is by Google, right?
Yeah, that open source one, no? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So they've had that also like for a really long time. Um, yeah. But yesterday, like, while like you guys are like, preparing questions, I hope I'm just like having a discussion and you guys can join in as well. Yesterday I was like, listening to a talk by this person called Matt Pocock. He used to like, he's very big in the TypeScript community, and recently he's getting into AI. So he was talking about, empathy of like working with AI. Um, the way you prompt, the way you communicate with the AI is like, very crucial to what output you get. And this reminded me of, when you said quality matters. I think it's really like important how you communicate with the AI to generate quality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Quality, yeah. And I think, yeah, the biggest thing is context. Like with Google search, typically in research, we're very used to putting keywords. But here, what I've seen is that just the more you talk to it, the more context you give it. Which is why I personally love the microphone feature on GPT, right? Because
Mm.
I could like truly, completely describe everything I'm thinking about in a certain idea or certain topic. And, nothing's left out because you could like ramble on and on, on of course has to be relevant to what you're talking about, but
Mm.
it doesn't have to be like super structured, basically, from what I've seen. And
Yeah.
yeah, emotion, and I mean, yeah, which is why the funny thing is, there's a meme I think that says that basically if something doesn't work right the first time with an AI, just tell the AI you're gonna kill yourself and then it'll work. And the
Yeah.
AI definitely doesn't want you to die, so it'll.
Yeah,
Well,
that
yeah.
has like definitely worked in the past, like people hacking like or like pushing the boundaries of what AI allows and restricts and things like that. I'll just quickly make an announcement part, and I think we can like continue this discussion for a bit. Maybe you can like screen share. So guys, yesterday, I told you all that I'll like be sharing some like maybe on a very high level of some opportunities that everyone can participate in. We just have 2 weeks remaining in the launchpad, guys, and this is the final push. Yesterday also I mentioned we want to make sure everyone finds their users at least some initial traction that either leads to some longer term conversations or some longer term runway, ideally, whatever that looks like, but we need to show some traction. Um, so that's what like these last 2 weeks are going to be focused on. Let's be actively communicative and things like that. Now here's the interesting bit. There may be a scholarship opportunity for 1 or 2 teams that show significant progress. I again, like we're still like figuring out some details. We might reach out to you all with some additional specific checks, but there may be an opportunity for 1 or 2 teams who like perform the best over these next 2 weeks to uh, be invited to another in-person build event that we're having. So it will be like a scholarship to build in person again, all heads down. Again, like specifics we'll reveal about that event over the next few days or a week or so. But this is a very real opportunity, and this in-person build event might also tie into the Aviv Day Singapore, or Aviv Day Asia, which is happening in Singapore. So if you perform well in these next 2 weeks, there's opportunity to build in person. We'll again, like I might fly you out to a place, and then from there on, if you show something really interesting in that in-person build, then there's a further scholarship of potentially being present at Aviv Day Asia and Singapore, where again it's a second chance to talk with the likes of people like Sam, Tate, William in person, like you all did at Aviv Day India. So these are the two things that are potentially at everyone's hands, and we'll be sharing more details as we flesh them out, as things come by over the next few days or week. But just wanted you all to know, so this is time to really double down your efforts, guys. um yeah. um any quick questions? I'll see if I can answer them, because we are working with limited information that we can share right now. Um, Otherwise, Parth, you can like pick off your session again
Mhm.
and maybe screen share or something.
Yeah. Right. You guys can see my screen, right?
Yep.
Mhm. Okay, so yeah, I was just looking at this URL builder, right? So basically, tracking involves these UTM tags, right? And Google and a bunch of these sites have a very easy way to make these UTM tags. And basically, these common tags then can be picked up by any analytics platform, right? Whether it's Google Search Console or Google Analytics or any more fancy, tool that you're using. And I would definitely suggest, right, you guys use some tool to track this, right? So you can just add a bunch of query params at the end and go that way. So typically, when people just see when you share a link like this, right, it's kind of big. Um, Sometimes you can share it like a hyperlink in a certain word or something, and it'll like a certain word in a post on a blog to link like this. But if you're just sharing like the link on its own, People sometimes don't like to share like these huge links, right? So by the way, the way I found this, I just put like UTM Builder on Google, and this is like the first site that came up, um, like this Google one and this one. Um, yeah. So if you want to like shorten these links, right? You can. I like to use Dub. Pretty cool site. I used to follow this guy who's like working Vercel earlier, and then he just like made this, and now it's like becoming insanely popular. So it basically just shortens your site, right? It shortens your link. It gives you like put any link here, and it gives you like a dub t.to link. And the cool thing that is it allows you to basically analyze the whole thing very easily. So you can have like a bunch of different sites, right, for a bunch of different things, and analyze everything here. But I think for analysis, I prefer like one site, right? Probably like a Google Analytics or a Search Console. But yeah, if almost everything you do is with short links, you can use this. I think in Arweave, we also prefer to share the gateway links, so that works. I mean that won't work with this, but yeah, um, shorting links is very cool. And then for the keywords, there's this site called Backlinko. It's kind of run by SEMrush, right? It's like their free version of the SEMrush platform. You can go to SEMrush directly as well, or just go to Backlinko. And so there's SEMrush and there's Ahrefs, and those are like the two most popular ones that I know of. So for example, I just put in Arweave, right, as just to check um, what it is. And it says 2 out of 3 free searches, but you can just like very easily use like another tab or something. Like if I just switch tabs here and go back here, it'll say 2 out of 3 again, right? So you can go incognito or something, figure it out. Oh wow, actually tracked it. Okay, never mind. Okay. So yeah, so basically the volume, right? That's pretty much the most important thing. Volume and the what is this? I want to say like kill death, but some kill death. Basic difficulty, right? There's usually a number associated. So green's like the easiest. This is like they don't know what's up. And then like the darker it goes, the more difficult it is. And there's like the cost of CPC, like cost per click. So the ad cost. Um, yeah, I forgot what the full form of KD is, but it's basically the difficulty. Yeah, keyword difficulty. Yeah, so it's the difficulty of how hard to rank. And then I think if you click one of these, it gives you more information. Go SEMrush, yeah. And so based on country, and so you see most blockchain keywords, this or the volume you can get is very very low because like obviously I'm told like Bitcoin, maybe Bitcoin, Ethereum, but anything else is super low. So I think for most crypto specific words, right, you can probably ignore this. I mean, you can use it to see what's there, what's trending, but like don't sort of base your blog on these keywords, I would say, because they're pretty common keywords and the volume's anyway so low. But if you want to like target a general web 2 concept, then this becomes very very useful, right? Because then you can actually see the differences. Okay, like and what you're looking for is of course volume, but also most importantly is the this keyword difficulty. Because if it has a high keyword difficulty, there's absolutely no point. Google Search Console will tell you you're on like the 5th, 10th page, and like it doesn't matter how good your blogs. So if you have low keyword difficulty, you'll probably be on the second page, third page, and then you can like build up from there. Maybe at the bottom of the first page, and then slowly start to get get clicks. Because the more clicks you get, the more traffic you get, and then the domain authority slowly increases. And then the good thing with the domain authority, once you have that, then you can start ranking for higher keyword difficulties, and then sort of all your blogs, automatically become more popular. So yeah, focus on the easy difficulties, and typically that involves longer keywords. So if you see the longer keywords, all typically always have the simpler difficulty levels. So and what this does, like you see, I just put RVWA, right? But these give you like keyword ideas, and that way in GPT is great for keyword ideas, but this like validates it. Yeah, and as you can see, SEMrush has a lot in here, but yeah, I think keywords is the great starting point. I'm not sure what is free and what is not free, so you probably experiment with that. and how much is free. I know they definitely restrict you from searching a lot, so you'll be like kind of careful on what you want to search for. But yeah, um, like once in a few days, use it, get like a list, and then yeah, focus on that. And yeah, you can use all the other sites. So the SEMrush is one, but Ahrefs is another great one. Traffic checker and keywords. I'll sign up. Never mind. Yeah, you guys sign up and then you can use it for free. But yeah, they all have the same metrics, right? Your keyword difficulty, your volumes, and similar keywords. And yeah, most important is country. Um, so I know we're in India, but typically the United States has the highest traffic for most keywords, and it's considered the one of the most expensive places for keywords because their audience is like higher to convert typically for where websites want to pay for stuff, right? So getting traffic from places like the United States or Europe, right, is considered high quality traffic than traffic from India. So that's also something to keep in mind. But yeah, um, that is keywords. Any Yeah, 5 searches a day. Yeah. So backlink wise are only a three. Um, but yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Thanks,
definitely
Parth.
don't yeah,
Uh,
definitely don't search for Arweave. Don't rank for Arweave. It's what your product is selling, right? Yeah, focus on
can you
that.
touch
Definitely.
on that a little? Because I remember that day when you were doing the live session. I think you looked at PermaScience website, and they had a lot of like keywords that are like good for their sector.
Mm-hmm.
So you can maybe share some like follow-up notes on that.
Yeah. Is it permasign.io? Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, so why I was saying permasign is cool because basically, I mean, you guys must have DocuSign, right? They're like the biggest kings for exactly this, electronic signatures, right? So what you can do is SEMrush also has a thing called competitor analysis. I'm not sure if it's free, but basically it tells you what keywords your competitors are ranking for. So yeah, this one, website competitor analysis. They'll make me sign up. Yeah, it will be sign up thing. But anyway, so basically you can see. I also have some extensions actually. Maybe I have an extension. There's some cool extensions also that basically give you. Um, I think I didn't write it down. I used to have it. Yeah, there's some cool extensions that basically on Google, like as you're searching for that thing on Google, it like tells you, the traffic, the volume, the keywords that this website's ranking for. So but yeah, basically you want to see who the biggest guys in your niche are, like what they're doing because they're clearly doing something right. Right, like what are the blogs they're writing, right? What are the web page they have, what are the keywords they're ranking for, right? And then look at the longer keywords that they are ranking for that have easier difficulty level, and start going after those, right? Because if they're ranking for it, that means it's clearly part of the audience, right? And if it's low difficulty, which means that it's easier to compete on those first. So yeah. Um, and yeah, I mean, well, I think that day what I was saying was in terms of features, right? Um, like enterprise grade features. So it depends again who your target audience is, because realistically speaking, I mean, no big enterprise is going to like use you day one, right? Or is going to ever come to you through marketing, right? So if you are going to go for a sales approach, right, then this is cool, right? Because then the big enterprises would like see this and then you could approach them. But realistically, I mean, even when we were doing startup, like realistically, I don't think any of us, unless there's some connections, can go and approach like a large enterprise or like even a decent enterprise, right, and convince them, to start using your product, right? Um, so in that sense, all of these are kind of buzzwords, right? It's cool to have, but like I would rather focus on like for a startup, right? Who sure they care about security, but security is not like the fundamental concern for a startup, right? Startup is like speed, right? Ease of use and speed are probably the most important things for startup, right? And something which DocuSign probably, yeah, okay, that's the exact same thing that they focus on, making it faster, right? So clearly, speed for contracting is a big thing, right? That's what they're doing it. So just copy that, right? Focus all on that. And yeah, I mean, their website's like way too cluttered, obviously, but you can definitely be a lot more minimalistic, um, and take inspiration from other cool SaaS apps. Um, yeah, so for them, so when you have certifications like this, then it makes sense, to display them, because enterprises will need these actual certifications. So even for us, like we had to get ISO, GDPR, and SOC 2 very quickly, because companies, outside India for sure, but even in India, the larger enterprises all require HSE certifications. So, but yeah, what you can focus on is that's what like stuff that they can never do, right? Like the whole. So maybe find a way to like bring in the concepts of Arweave without mentioning Arweave, right? Like how securely stored maybe the data is. But again, I think ChatGPT will have insane sort of copy that you can get inspiration from, how to write that copy and how to create those pages. But yeah, other than that, and also yeah, always like typically, I mean, when we like sell, we typically have like the app and the landing page on like separate domains. Um, it's just that you can like the app doesn't need to be SEO focused, right? It's like this, nobody cares of this as SEO, because if Google clicks on this and they see this page, instantly like, what the hell is this page, right? Like this guy has a random page on his website which leads nowhere and says like one word, one line, right? So instantly you'll be like, okay, this guy has dead page on his website. Like boom, shitty website. So because SEO and these bots can't understand, right? They just click around every link that they find and read the page. So that's why typically, the app is on a separate domain, like typically app dot, like app dot site or something. Um, and so the landing page is just completely focused on the person. And yeah, I mean, what you have is cool. Like a single page also works, where just scrolling up and down. Um, of course, when you have blogs and more data, you can like fill it up a lot more. But to start with, I mean, yeah, this works as well. Um, Yeah, and also yeah, SEMrush also has ways to sort of give you a SEO score on your landing pages. So we used to use that a lot. So it's all basic stuff. It's not like rocket science. Um, I think one of the main things is just the amount of content that you have on your webpage and how it's structured. So like H1, H2, H3s, basically making it easier for like bots to read the data. And again, the more data you have, on your website, the more of an expert they think you are. So that's why. Well, I think that's it. But I think yeah, I mean, perm I specifically was talking perm because it was one of the things that like kind of stuck with me on how this can be a lot. Like can definitely compete with the Web2 world. And see, DocuSign are the kings of the world, but I know there's an open source DocuSign. I don't know if I mentioned it to the perm team. Is the perm team there on call?
Yeah, we're there. Yeah,
Yeah. Did I guys
listening.
mention? Did I mention to you? Did I share some link? I kind of forgot. The open source
I don't
sign.
recall. No.
No. Okay.
Yeah, we are here.
Okay.
Yeah, you didn't share anything in the open source domain.
So if you could
Okay.
share that, that'll be great.
Yeah. But basically, so there are a bunch of open source documents. I don't know the specific one that I'm referring to, but yeah, as you can see, I mean, you just search open source. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 at least, yeah. So what's cool with open source is that you can probably integrate your sort of protocol somehow into these. That'll be huge because they obviously have a community. They have what? Yeah, 5,000 stars, right? So pretty cool. They're not small. And yeah, I mean, see how well they're doing, right? So with SEMrush and with all these SEO tools, you can basically piggyback off their traffic because that's what you want, right? Like who is coming to OpenSign and well, they have pricing as well, so they're not fully open source, right? So it's open source, but then they have a managed service. So that's also cool. This is like a huge tactic that people do, and something that you guys can do as well, right? Open source the code, right? So that and then integrate into these open source guys, but have like a managed version as well where people can pay for it. So that way, people are confident the code is open. So in case the pricing is too expensive, whatever, they can use the open source version. But they just want most people just want like plug and play. So yeah, but this is definitely not the one I was talking about. When I come across again, I will share it for sure. But basically, it was one of these open source DocuSigns that was like very clean, very nice, and yeah, I was like, this is amazing. If only they were like on Arweave. Maybe this one? No, I don't think so. So, oh yeah, another thing is this, I forgot to mention. So, what most people do is like hacks the basic like tools, right? So, instead of just writing a blog and then spreading that blog, most people like you can write a blog with like a mini tool or like an infographic attached to that so that people are actually incentivized to use it. So, then when you share that blog on social media, right, you can be like, hey, I just made this cool thing, this cool tool for you to use. And that way it like blow up, a lot more than just a simple blog. And to build hype on that, people also say, I don't know if you've seen, it's kind of shitty when people do it, where they give you a sneak peek of that tool, like either through a video or like a description, like a picture or something, and then they say, comment like I wanted something on this thread, and then I will DM you the link. So that's basically to build hype, right? Because the more comments you get, the more the post will spread. So, but again, it's the key is you got to build a cool tool, right? That you can just easily use, and someone can like immediately get the aha moment about your whole product. So these guys are clearly more popular, right? 10,000 stars. So and this is cool. You just upload a document and assume it'll just sign it or something. So I think that's also a very cool thing that you guys can do, because signing, right? I mean, sure, you need a wallet technically, but you could just make like a like a browser wallet immediately and have it signed up with that, and then have the option to connect and I don't know, somehow merge signatures or something. But yeah, this for all the teams. I mean, this I think is a very cool strategy that even we've used a little bit. So it can be tools, but it can also be just infographics. And now making infographics with ChatGPT is so easy, right? So just something cool to share, basically, instead of just words. And so just a blog of words and pictures, something different. That some like research, and today again, research is so easy. You just deep search, a certain thing in your domain, take all that data, make an infographic out of it, and be like, hey, I did so much research and came out with this cool insight, and just post that. So, but tool always works because you can then market the tool on landing page separately, and that sometimes that becomes like the whole product. Like there's a site called Firecrawl. They were doing something totally different. I think is their parent company mentioned here? Yes, they're a YC company, but they were doing, yeah, the whole company is Firecrawl. But before they were something completely different, and then they became Firecrawl because Firecrawl became um, like it was just an experiment. It was just like a free tool that they made for people to use, and it blew up. Oh yeah, Mendable, this one. There we go. Mendable AI. That was who they were. And Mendable was basically baking AI automations. I think it was like AI automations, something like that. And so they just made Firecrawl as like a simple browser automation, and it like blew up huge. And they made open source, right? So they allowed anybody to, yeah, see 43,000 stars. So they allowed anybody to use it, and they had a very simple demo on their website. And then they made like a domain out of it, so people could use the Firecrawl on that domain. And yeah, it blew up so much that they basically pivoted the whole company to now Firecrawl. And I don't know if they're doing Mendable anymore, but yeah, Firecrawl became like massive, and they doubled down then, on making Firecrawl everything. So sometimes your tools that you make, right, that around your product could become your product. So that always works. And I remember they posted on Product Hunt with their open source thing, the open source GitHub, and people absolutely loved it because at the time, you basically you should put in a simple domain, right? So let's say we put in like put in perma domain, and basically it would give you, I don't know if they still, yeah. So without even signing up or anything, right? They'll just scrape it and give you like a nice JSON about this thing, about this website that you can now feed into ChatGPT. So yeah, and they back then used to handle very complicated websites, which other people could not do, and completely for free. As you can see, no sign up, nothing. Okay, well, wow, failed, but it typically works. Um, and yeah, people loved it, right? People would use it all the time, and it was very easy to spin up and use because of open source as well. And then they got a pricing on it, and now yeah, it's huge. They've got like crazy pricing for all types of users and an enterprise plan, of course. So yeah, just a small success story on building tools and how these tools that they basically made a tool for SEO, and it became their company. So very cool. Yeah, hope you guys found this useful. Um, if you guys are wondering about anything else, DM's always open. Um, happy to help, and especially using these AI, these tools I shared. So as I said, I've not used most of them. I think I've only used very very few of them. So anybody is using these AI tools, would love, like, we can have a chat in the Discord here. Definitely post your feedback, and let everyone here know the good, the bad, and the ugly of all these different tools.
Yes, thanks, Bart. Amazing session, like lots of takeaways. Guys, I hope you all implement at least some of this to varying degrees. Again, like this will also help like boost to what announcement I made earlier. Just in case anyone missed it, there might be an opportunity to have another in-person build session. Just go heads down, and then that might lead to maybe some opportunities for a scholarship to Aviv Asia and Singapore. So keep that in mind, guys. Again, like you can tag us, you can tag Path if you all have any doubts over the next 2 weeks or so. Even after that is, of course, where you're only. Um, but yeah, thanks, Path, once again.
Yep, anytime.
And yeah, I think that's it on our end for today. I hope Ankush, like this was recorded. If it was, like we'll also share this recording with you guys to go back and refer to any specific parts you guys want to. Um, yeah, that's it, guys. Thank you. Ankush is probably messing with me. I hope he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ankush is very reliable. Yes.